Hello and good morning, or any time of the day where this exercise session finds you. Welcome to Bars and Bells. My name is Ian. I'm missing my bell. Nope, I have a bell right there. My other bell. Do you have a bell? That could be a partner. That could be the actual implement in our kettlebell here. But Lauren is away from the studio today, but here we are to continue with our strength and mobility practice with our kettlebell. First though, we'll start with our breath. We'll do a bodyweight mobility get familiarized with those steps, shrug some shoulders, but ultimately down and back. And then after that, we'll play with our swing hinges, some of our holds, and finish with a little bit of an endurance exercise. But first, in a position that's comfortable for you, in my sit like this, extending the hips in a tall kneel, or from seated or laying on your back. Take a hand, place it on the belly. Other hand, place it on the chest, and then the nose, inhale through it. Then exhale. For 2 more, take breaths into that belly. Feel the rise of the belly, and then that fall on an exhale. We'll take 1 more time, down low, breath in, and then exhale. Now for 3, take a chest breath. I'm overdoing it a little bit again, but that probably flares the ribs, and then exhale, brings it back down. Same thing, take a chest breath. You might feel that chest rise, and then exhale. For 1 more time, same thing. Take a chest breath. Inhale, exhale. Let's come back to the breath in just a second, but first, gently talk to the head and neck. Pulling the chin high, looking straight ahead. Continue to pull from those top vertebrae here, the crown of the head, up, and then relax. And then same thing, re-engage that nice chin tuck, holding for about 10 seconds, pulling the crown of the head up, lengthening out the back of the neck, and relax. 1 or 2 more as you pull to the crown of the head to the ceiling. Then we breathe and feel a little bit of energy pulling us tall, and then relax. And then last time here, same thing. The chin tuck in, pull the crown of the head high, and relax. Pull the crown of the head high, pivot on the nose. Touching your nose might be helpful. Keep your nose in the same position and pull on this side to go that way. And then pull on this side to go the other way. For a couple more in a row, pull down on the short side to give you that strength and stability to pull across the top, and then pull down, other side, same thing. Return to center. Lastly, at the head neck, the chin in, grow tall, and rotate looking over your shoulder, taller as you go. And return to center, continuing to lengthen out. Go through center, rotate to the other side, chin tuck in nice and tall, rotate center, then 1 more time each, nice and slow. Snap, crackles, and pops might happen. Are they great? Probably not. Try to find ways to make this smooth and let all those body parts cooperate. Relax that out just a little bit. Get to come back to that breath now. A hand on the belly and a hand on the chest. For 4 seconds, take a belly breath in. And then let's hold for 4. 3, 2, follow that by an exhale. Repeat again, we'll add on 4-second inhale to the belly. Now hold for 4. And then up top here, take a breath into the chest. And then exhale. Repeat, 4 seconds into the belly, feeling it fill to the front. Hold. And then on that chest breath, feel the rib cage expand left and right, followed by our exhale. 2 more repetitions, 4-second belly in. and our hold. And then our 4-second inhale, expanding that chest cavity. Exhale. Final repetition, 4 seconds into the belly. Hold. And then breathe into that chest. Exhale. Breathing into the belly always perplexes me because your lungs are right here. But breathing into the belly cues the diaphragm to do that work. And then that last breath allows that expansion of the rib cage. Do we feel chronically tight? Take some breaths, get in there. Thumbs in ribs, elbows in ribs on massages could feel nice or very vicious, but using your breath, you can convince your body to stay open from the ribs and the core out. From here, let's get on our backside and we'll coach ourselves through one of our get-ups in our mobility way here. So I'm going to be on my back, and like Lauren always says, start in that cuddle. So here we are in a cuddle position with our shoulder packed. Roll to the backside and press a hand to the ceiling. From here, let's protract the shoulder, retract the shoulder, meaning pull the shoulder blade to the body, and then just place that hand across the chest. For 2 of everything, first, press that foot in the floor of the bent leg and initiate your roll where your shoulder comes with your hip. Take time as you return to the ground. Again, push off that hip and then return. This next time, we'll push off the hip and end up on the elbow. So it's a hip drive, initiating the roll, and then pull on the floor to get to the elbow. Stay there for a second. I'm just going to change my position. So in this position again, gently let the shoulder shrug or sink down to the floor. But then through the elbow and the armpit, press the floor away. I hope that feels stronger through our core and better supported through our shoulder. For one more time, gently shrug again, and then push the elbow down to grow tall. From there, open that hand, grip the floor, and spin it so the fingers are facing laterally or just a little bit to the back. Now at the shoulder, protract the shoulder forward, and then retract it back and continue to push the floor away. Protract the shoulder, it looks a little soft or rolled forward, and then retract the shoulder and push the floor away. We're going to continue to push the floor away, and then the leg that's hiding here, I'm going to push it into the floor as well. So I'm in my bridge, and then we'll sweep across. That other hand again is across the chest. From here, can you rotate that your head looks at the thumb on the ground, and then this shoulder to rotate across the body. Then nice and slow, add a rotation where the chest is looking at that wall in front of you. At this moment, are we shrugged, pulled down, and pressing away from the floor? For one more time, get the head looking at the hand first, and then that opposite shoulder to the hand on the floor. Try to close it towards a parallel position, keeping the head looking straight at the floor for now. From here, I'm going to push through the floor to hinge back. I'll slide my hand up the leg till I'm in my side lunge here, and then we'll square up the lunge. In that lunge squared position, I hip hike the tuck, finding the places where our hips can stay level. We'll tuck under the hip in this posterior tip, and then tip forward in this anterior tip. And again, we want to find center so you can stay nice and strong. Now push forward through the front, back through the back, and nice and control, stand up to tall. Whew. Back up just a little bit. We're still here. Oh, thank goodness I looked. Make sure there's no obstacles in the way. So the same leg that was in the back, let's do the same thing on the way down. And again, push or extend those hips forward as we descend in our lunge position. Then wiggle that foot out to the side. We'll add our rotation, that chop and hinge. Find the floor. With our chest still facing the wall in front of us, we'll sweep the back leg, end up in our tall sit, find our elbow, watch out for obstacles, and then counterbalance on the way down. Whew, there we go. So we do the same thing on the other side. So we'll set that up with our cuddle position here as if we're holding our kettlebell. And from there, push to the ceiling. Again, protract that shoulder, pushing away from the floor, and then retract that shoulder and place the hand across the body. From here, we'll use 2 repetitions of exclusively the hip extension to roll. Push the foot in the floor, the hip and the shoulder move together. Then nice and slow, return to your back. Push through the floor, initiating your roll, and then return to your back. This time, push or hip extend, and then whoop-pow, pull on the floor to our tall sit. Stay right there. In that elbow, we'll gently shrug, but then drive the elbow down from this underneath armpit musculature, really activating our core here. And again, gently shrug. It's good to do everything, but under load or in our get up, push the floor away. Then from here, we'll open the hand, squish that dead bug. And from here, we'll roll the shoulder forward, but then retract or pull back and then push the floor down. Repeat, roll forward, pull back, push the floor down. I'm continuing to push through that hand as I push my foot through the ground to bridge, sweep a leg through, and now look at the hand on the ground. Is the shoulder forward, or are we again in that packed strong position? I can't see, but it looks good. Keep it up. From here, take your eyes and your face and look at the hand on the ground. Then the shoulder that's away from the hand on the ground, rotate towards square. Keep the head or face looking at the hand on the ground. Stay square for a second longer. And then nice and slow, push the floor away, adding that rotation, shining your heart forward. Is your shoulder shrugged or we're packed down? And we'll repeat that one more time. Start with the head first. Rotate the head to look at the hand. And then slowly work on rotating that upper body so we're level, like if both hands are on the floor, level like our bear crawl. From here, I'm going to push the floor away. Then I'm going to extend my hip as I drag the hand across the floor, pushing this hip forward. Now the leg that's in the back, we'll move that to a lunge stance. Core brace, hip hike, tuck under. Find that nice centered position here, and then push forward through the front, back through the back, stand up to tall. Watch your space, and then same thing as we go back down to the ground. Drop lunge, vertical shin, hip extension in the back. Open that toe to the side. Chop hinge. Find the floor, sweep through, tall sit. Check in where those shoulders are and pull down. Push the floor away. Brace on those abs to the ground. Whew, that's a nice little warm-up. It cues those nice do's in the get-up and also the maybe the don'ts. And it's not to say we should never shrug our shoulders. Very, very useful. However, in the get-up or when we're under a kettlebell load, we want to make sure we're down and engaged to that core, connecting the rib cage to the hips. Without further delay, I have a lighter kettlebell here to the side, and I'd like to get into our firing range position and just load ourselves as per the get-up. I'll have my head facing the camera to start, setting up in that cuddle. So in that cuddle, we'll pack the shoulder, take a sniff, roll to our back, and with 2 hands, press. As allowed, as stability is there, take the other hand away. I wish I wore my hair higher. Here we go. But again, for about 20 seconds longer, we're packing in on that armpit, making sure the wrist is nice and stacked, and just getting used to life under your load. Breathe in, brace, and for about 5 more seconds here, work on that stability and the awareness of the shoulder blade. In a second or two longer, 2 hands on the kettlebell, vertical forearm as you pull down to the body, and then end up back in a cuddle. Flip the feet over the bell, never your bell over the bell, because that would ring it and hurt. But we'll set up nicely here for the same thing, little firing range position on the other side. So here again, I have my good grip, crushing or really feeling it nice and intensely with my pinky finger. My wrist is stacked. We'll take our breath and we'll roll to the back and then core press to the top. Keep the chin tucked. As I said, my hair gets in the way, so I understand. I can empathize with the long hair scene and making sure that shoulder is low. We're engaged on the armpit. We're squeezing and engaged to the floor. And challenge it. Make it feel like a little bit of work. And I would love this to be heavy in the hand and not heavy in the shoulder. Of course, your triceps are working. Your pecs are working on the front. But I want you to feel that load in the hand and not feeling it in the shoulder. For 5 more seconds, start to take that second hand, grab it, pull down, keeping that forearm vertical, and then end up in your cuddle. Up anyhow you want. I'm going to choose my get up. Come on up with me here. For this get up, I'll place a hand towards the ceiling, just like the firing range. Then again, we'll extend through that hip, pull on the floor, sit nice and tall, push the foot that way and the hand that way to bridge, sweeping. Here we go. Squaring up in the lunge and push back through the back, front through the front. And then if your arm is overhead, pull that down like our nice pull-push groove. Do you have a kettlebell handy? I need to back up again, I'm sorry. Do you have a kettlebell handy? Currently, I have a heavy one and a light one. I had a little confession last night. I'm a little bit out of practice with my kettlebell skills. This bell over here, easy. This bell right here, oh my goodness, pretty hard. Do you have 2 kettlebells at home? A heavy and a light? A nice way to make that one feel even lighter is to play with a heavy one. Or to get to the heavy one, build up reps on the light. Maybe you have both. If not, don't worry about it. We'll get there later. But first, I like to set up that hinge. So we'll stand over our kettlebell here and grip it with one hand. I might look forward at you just to say hi, but in my own practice, I'm going to try to look about 10 or 12 feet in front of me that my head and neck stays neutral. I'll show you that side angle in a second. So look at the floor, chop your hips, try to avoid looking at the kettlebell as you set up your hip hinge. Hold on to it with one hand for a couple seconds. Then gently let go, push your feet down and out into the floor, and extend. So again, a side profile with my other arm, so let's switch our arms here. Set up your hip hinge, hips go back. Without looking at the kettlebell, could you grab onto it? Hold on for a second or two, feel some load tension through the hamstrings, then push the feet down and out to extend the hips. What we're looking for here, follow along or just watch, is that as we set up our hip hinge, the opposite shoulder is staying nice and square. Say this is good, and this is what we're trying to gently change. We want to grip onto a single hand if we could on the bell, and then pull that opposite shoulder to get square or center. Let go, barehanded up. Same thing one last time on the other side. Set up your hip hinge, butt back, chins in our neutral place, looking at the floor in front. And again, when we grab onto that kettlebell, are we square? If we're in a rotation like I'm showing here, pull the opposite shoulder towards that kettlebell. Hopefully that feels like we're engaged on the cores and the lats. And then let go, push the feet out, and stand up. Shake it out. We're going to do the same idea here, but now we're going to actually lift that kettlebell with 2 hands. Build that awareness where we are in the rotation. Two hands tends to center us a little bit easier. We'll advance that in the coming weeks to work on one arm versions. But for now, for about 5 repetitions, we'll set up that hip hinge, grab on with 2 hands, crush the grip, pack the shoulders, preload the body, and lift, full extension, and then hinge to the ground. Pack the shoulders, feel safe and strong in your core and your lifts here as you brace and extend, and return. Packing shoulders, preloading, lifting in the pretend fashion, and then driving those hips through and down. And last one, pack those shoulders, push those feet down and out, tension between you, the floor, and the bell. As we hinge, we stand, and we return. Barehanded up with a little bit of a wiggle. Can we come back down to the floor, extend that task in the firing range, making it into our arm bar, or go back to that firing range and build more strength and awareness there. I'll get to the floor through, you guessed it, my get up. Clear that space, either the hand over the chest or that hand overhead, and the leg that you can touch drops back. Nice and slow. That was a little quick, I'm sorry. Now, the front leg opens. We rotate, hinge to the ground, sweeping over, navigating that kettlebell that's in the way perhaps, and then find the elbow and push off to the back. All right, we're down here, but I'm way back there. So I'm gonna come up a little bit closer. So we'll start with that cuddle and adding that rotation. Our arm bar for some T-spine mobility, some stability up in that shoulder, and just, I like it. Feels like a nice stretch. So I hope that feels the same for you. So we'll set up our cuddle. Take a breath, cuddle, roll and press. And from here, place the arm of the unloaded side overhead. Then we'll extend through that hip, say hello to our fern, and get on our sideline here. I'm gonna hook my foot on the back of the knee and then place my knee down on the floor. We're always working to improve that overhead mobility on the unloaded arm and then that stability of the bell. I feel pretty confident, so I'm gonna unhook my foot, lift my knee a little bit, and then super slowly kind of slide my leg or my knee away from the body and then return my hips to stacked. And then same thing, one more, as we extend away from the body, maintain the stability up top, return the hips to stacked, and then nice and slow, return to the back. 2 hands on the kettlebell, pull it down, and then our cuddle. Do the same thing on the other side. And I'll face kind of this way, I think. So again, we'll pack that shoulder, grip that kettlebell with your firm grip, pinky power, and then roll. Core press. The unloaded arm goes overhead. Again, not an easy drill, that shoulder flexion there. Make sure that feels safe and strong. Now, we'll extend through the hip, head on the arm over the head, and then hook a foot on the back of the knee. Slow is so hard. And then knee down. Work on the instability moments to make it easier overall. If you feel safe and secure here, you could lift the foot away and then slide across. Stack those hips back. Make sure the integrity of the shoulders maintained throughout. And again, reach and roll. My head's off my arm, more on account of my mic, I'm sorry. Just want to make sure I'm not giving you too much feedback there. And then nice and slow, roll to the back. 2 hands on the bell, pull it down. And then again, give it that cuddle. Take some breath. Pardon me, you want to get up from the floor with your get up? Me too. So I'm going to switch my side here. I know going down it was the other way. So here I'll have my left arm pointing to the ceiling, my left knee bent, and extending through that bent leg hip to push and then pull on the floor. From there, tall sit. From there, bridge, sweep, push the floor away, extending those hips to tall, squaring up a lunge, and then standing up, forwards is preferred. Shake it out. 2 more versions of those deadlifts. One, the pretend one, where we just want to coach the shoulders to stay nice and square. And for 1 more set of 5 reps, we'll try to lift that object as well. So we'll set it up, deadlift stance, feet just outside of those hips. Find a stance that's appropriate for you. We'll set up the hinge without looking at the bell. With the chin tuck, grab on. Check the opposite shoulder and maybe even intentionally unrotate it, rotate the other way, and then rotate back to center. From there, let go and extend the hips. Switch to the other arm. Hip hinge, shoulders stay square as we reach for our kettlebell. Grip it with the hands, stay square, or add a little rotation, and then really feel that connection to the kettlebell, opposite shoulder to hand. Let go, come on up. Same thing 1 last time each. Hip hinge, find that kettlebell, making sure we don't rotate, but then again, maybe rotate. Find a way to lock the armpit onto the load and the opposite shoulder to the opposite hip. Let go, body weight up. Final repetition here, set up our hip hinge, the hips shoot back, we grab onto that kettlebell. Are we rotated? Find a way to make that nice and strong in center. Hold for a second, let go, body weight up. Little shake. Take a couple seconds, cue that hinge, that pretend fashion to really, again, just coordinate the way the body moves, but tension again educates us how to keep that or maintain as a go-to rather than a rotation. So here we go with 2 hands now, coaching that center line. We'll hip hinge here, hands on our kettlebell, packing shoulders, preloading, and driving to the top. Return to the floor pretty quick. Reset the grip. Pack shoulders with the chin tuck. Preload, drive those hips, drive those heels, extend, and to the ground. Pack those shoulders, preload, and drive to the top. And down. And I think 2 more with a chin tuck. Pack shoulders, preload, drive to the top. And as you place this kettlebell down, it's almost on the heel line, slightly behind the body. And for 1 last time, pack shoulders, drive those hips, extend with the core brace, return to the floor, and again up, barehanded. That's it for me on my heavier lift. I'm going to move that off to the side, shake it out. And again, in lifts and in life, use that hinge, pull it up, take it for a little walk, and then put it down. Whether you use your squat or your hinge, it depends where the object is, and depends on the load perhaps too. Take time, but apply the hinge or the squat to your life. Whew. Firing range positions, arm bars. Those are nice ways just to get used to that grip on the forearm and get familiar with the kettlebell. Different bells, different shapes, different loads, same fun challenges. So grab one that feels just right for you. Be Goldilocks. Not too light, not too heavy, just right. With our just right kettlebell, we'll continue to use that hinge as we now hold in that goblet hold position. Chop those hips, grip that kettlebell, preload, and we'll pull that kettlebell to the goblet hold now. Does that feel safe and strong? Handles are being pulled apart by the rhomboids or armpits of the back. The ribs are connected to the hips, making sure that we're not leaning backwards. And feet are being pressed into the floor with our glutes squeezed. Hold for 5 more seconds. Build that tension, intensity with the grips, as well as through the core. And then open the stance, hip hinge down, and body weight up. We'll give it about 15 seconds off here. That was maybe about 15 seconds. I need to maybe look at the clock to time that a little bit better. But again, work intensely for a duration where you don't fail. Avoid gravity telling you what's up. So here we go for one more time with our shakes. We'll set up the hinge, packing shoulders, and then zip it up. And for 15 seconds here, our shoulders are back, rib cage just slightly forward, feet are pushing out into the floor. We're breathing in and out through the nose, behind the shield that are those abs. For 3, 2, and then hinge to the ground and body weight up. We love our deadlifts here, but we tend to do more swings than deadlifts. Why? Because I don't have a couple 100 pounds to stay strong. I mean, for Lauren to show me what's up. So using our swing, a nice fun way to get our aerobics, maintain our strength, and strengthen your butts and your core. So before we get into that swing today, I'd like to start with a swing drill. For that, again, I'll turn sideways, sorry. Start tall, extended, hips through, ribs down, just like in your plank. Arms forward for a second. At the top of this swing pattern, we want to make sure that we're not rounded. So for one repetition, protract or round those shoulders forward. Now, with stiff elbows, retract. With your core brace, take time and have those hands slowly fall towards the legs. Once they touch the legs, we'll set up that hip hinge with the hands going between the legs there as we hinge back. Now push your feet down and out to stand up. Keep the hands tight to the body until your hips fully extend like there, and then let them float up. Did you maintain your shoulder blade retraction? Or again, are we in the protracted shoulder? Just to cue that, let's protract the shoulders one more time as to reach forward, and then retract. Play chicken with the body here as the arms come down, delaying your hinge, and then push the feet out continuously to get nice tension and groundedness to the floor, and then push the feet out yet again as we start to stand up with our hands tight until squeezing of the glutes, extending them, floating the hands. For the last repetition, let's keep the shoulder blades in retraction, and we'll tight. I could take Lauren's punch to the abs here. As my hands fall, push the feet out to load, and push the feet out to extend, and then float those arms. Shake it out. Have a little rest. I'd like to do one more time in that goblet hold, or if we feel confident with our goblet hold, our window hold, just opening up a little bit. When we look in that window, I want you to look on the horizon. What a beautiful sunrise, sunset. It's not nighttime yet, so we're going to stay away from looking at those stars. Looking at the stars is too much work for the low back. So as we hold our kettlebell in the goblet or in that window position, we're doing everything to prevent a back bend and everything to promote loading the core onto the hips. Sound okay? Let's go. Set up the hip hinge. Take your breath. Chop. Grip. Pull. And again, about 20 seconds. This is my window hold. I'm looking straight through that handle. My elbows are hugging into that kettlebell, and it's already been 10 seconds. My feet are pushing out. My glutes are squeezing, and I'm leaning forward just a little bit to load my core. For 2 more seconds, I'm going to own it to the end, pull it to the body, and then hinge to the ground. Follow that with a little bit of a light shake. We'll try to give about that same amount of time on and off as we get into one last set in that goblet or the window hold. Ready to go? Okay, let's do it. Hip hinge. Pack the shoulders, preload, and pull. Adjust your stance as you need. And for 20 seconds, you do the window hold here. Breathing in. And out of that nose when I remember. And for 5 more seconds here, keep the rib cage down, glutes squeezed, pull to the body, and hinge to the ground. To do one more time on that shadow swing, a nice bodyweight version of our swing here. So, Arms out front with our shoulders in retraction. Arms go down. We set up our hip hinge. Push the feet down and out as we stand up. And then arms front. The shoulders are still squeezing together. The hands go down. Push the feet down and out to load, and down and out to explode. And hands forward. One last time. Shoulders in retraction. Hands down. Hip hinge. Push the feet down and out to extend, and then float those arms up. Shake it out. We have one more hold for today, and that's our rack position. We're going to use much of the same ballistic hinge to bring that kettlebell to a goblet position, but instead of 2 arms holding, we're going to coach 1. Men and women, different body parts, going to be a little bit different. Generally, pinkies or fingers stacked over the wrist, over the elbow, vertical forearm. Sometimes it might go here, a little bit out to the side, but we're avoiding this position of our forearm or that position of our forearm. Find that middle zone that, again, like Goldilocks, feels just right. So here's my kettlebell. I'm going to stand right over top of it with the handle parallel with my feet this time. Set up my hip hinge. Grab it with the hand that I'm intending to grip it with. Whoa, shoulders. Let's square those up. The pistol grip, the preload, and pull, whip out to that rack position. Excuse me. Also for 20 seconds, hold that in rack, pushing the feet out, squeezing the butt, bracing the core, and sharing that load all the way to the floor. We have a couple more seconds remaining. In about 5 seconds here, take the other hand onto the kettlebell, like in that cuddle, and return it to the floor. Come up barehanded. Same thing on the other side. Set up our hinge, grip the kettlebell, pull to rack, hold for time, like 20 seconds. Where's the body? Soft, engaged, squeezed, push your feet out, maintain your breath. And for 5 seconds here, 4, 2 hands on, return to the floor, come up barehanded. Wiggle that out. We did a couple sets of that shadow swing. We also have our chop and pop. Chop and pop helps cue that timing and that pace or the ballistic nature of our kettlebell swing. Follow along, we'll start slow and ramp up over 5 repetitions. Take bent arms, chop on those hips, push the hips back with straight hands. And as we stand up, brush those hands by the hips, and only when the hips are fully extended, shoot those hands out front. Stay tall until we brush by and hinge, and keep your hands behind until you extend and bring them through. Extend those elbows, and when the palms touch the backs of the hips, hinge, and then stand up with the hands still behind until there. Let's go 2 more. Arms extend, set up that hinge. The hands stay behind until the butt tells them what to do. Final time, hands back, setting up that chop. And then the last pop, glutes, glutes, hips, hips, and then finish with those hands, arms. Little wiggle. For last hold for today, let's come back to this hold, the rack hold. Stand over the bell. A harder way to do the lift is only with 1 hand. Use 2 hands as you need, and for the extra challenge, drive up to clean. From here, brace the core. We're aiming for 20 seconds, and ways to make this exercise next level include going for a little walk in a front or back pattern, or also our sideways or lateral patterns. Take time, build strength. As you can see, I'm walking kind of 2 steps each way. You don't need much room to really bring up a different challenge for the core. Root those feet, 2 hands, return, barehanded up. Same thing for the last time on the other side. hip hinge, grip it, pull it, zip, and then again, nice and slow, narrow or change your base of support as you need. Go for a little walk around the room, breathing, nice and controlled as we go, keeping the ribs and the hips connected. And then for 5 more seconds, maybe finish that square that you're drawing there. And then 2 hands on, return to the floor, and up with our bare hands. From standing, I like to do 2 more get-ups, nice and slow as you go down and up, switch sides, down and up one last time. Hand across the chest is an optional, or arm overhead. If our arm is overhead, we're making sure again that that armpit is down. The free leg or the leg that you can touch, drop back into your lunge. Slowly open up and then rotate, chop and hinge. Lean over hands, sweep a leg through, find the elbow, and then to the back. Repeat the up. Hip extension to pull, tall elbow. Tall sit, bridge, sweep, lunging through with a windmill, and then pushing the feet front and back respectively to stand up and pull down. Final time on the other side. Again, either the hand across chest or overhead. Free leg, step it back. Keep that butt back cheek extended as we push the hip forward, nice and slowly going down in our lunge. And open up to the side. Set up our hip hinge, rotate, grip the floor, sweep through, find an elbow, and push off with that core brace. For the final time, we'll get up, extend the hip through, pull on the floor, get tall, bridge, sweep, extend and square, and front foot goes forward, back leg goes back as you stand to tall and pull down. For the final drill today, I'm missing my training partner in more than one way, but here we are doing some I go, you go swings. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, just watch. But I'll be doing 5 repetitions of a swing, and then it's you go. And I'll do 5 repetitions of a swing, and then you go. It might not look pretty, and taking a video might help you. If you do, send it to us. We'd love to help you groove your kettlebell swing and stay strong in your practice at home. So here, I'm gonna again go 5 kettlebell swings with 2 hands, then it's your turn at home. Might take you 10, 15 seconds to do. So I go first for 5. Here we go. Hands on bell. We're gonna pull it back and swing. 5. Park. Your turn. What we're looking for again is shoulders that stay back, feet that stay grounded, cores that stay braced, and butt cheeks and abs that politely light a fire. Oh, my turn. Okay, fix that hair. Here we go. Pack shoulders, 5 reps. 1, 2, 3. Your turn. Focusing on gripping the floor with feet, patterning that timing that the hands go out front and we delay the hinge. 1 more repetition for you at home maybe, and for 1 final set, last set of 5 today, hands on bell. 1. And park. Go. Finish off that last set. Keep your volume low. 5 repetitions can go a long way to help with your strength and endurance. Take a breath in through the nose and out through the nose. Repeat for 3 more. And I too hope to have conditioning like Lauren one day. Breath in and out. And all it takes is some practice. A little bit of uncomfortableness, a whole lot of strength, and practice for life. Thank you very much for joining me today. Lauren will be back for more kettlebell, bodyweight, and bar exercises. Thank you for following along. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Become a member at barsandbells.com/become-out-member. And stay strong wherever you are in Ontario, in Canada, and across the world. Thank you, and have a great day. Take care.